Good morning, I'm Godscribe Roger, and this is GSR News. Where did China get its money? Anybody ever think about that? I'm going to tell you where China got its money. Corporations paid the Chinese communists, think of what? Would you pay the communist government money to have sweatshop workers make their products cheap? All that money that they'd have paid American workers and people around the world, all these corporations that have hired out the Chinese communist government to pay sweatshop workers nothing practically. Billions of dollars funneled right into the communist government. They don't need to sell oil. Corporations are their oil company. And what has the communists done with all this money? They've created a huge military with nuclear weapons, the most highest tech. Even tech industries are sending their work over to them, and they're learning all about the technology, all these technologies that they need, because the United Nations wants this senior member state in charge, one of the heads in charge of this world. As you know, there are communist police stations opening up around our country in America. Have you noticed that? Have you heard the news? What is happening is that the devil runs the UN. His son, he's put it in the head of it, and his son has a religious leader, which is a false prophet which is of the Catholic Church. Now, they want to rule this world, and they must overthrow Christian nations and anybody that will stand in their way. That's why they create all these wars, because let's think about it. If you're not an American that loves America, let's say, put it like that, and willing to die for your country, you're not going to go and fight for it, are you? Well, they know that if somebody does, that they love their country and they're willing to die for it, and they're scared of those people and they want to kill them. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they've been doing. Corporations paid the Chinese Communist government money to have sweatshops make their products cheap. This made people homeless, and they are now villains. Yeah, they're villainized. That's the word I use. Also, illegal workers are brought in, and they pay no taxes. Satan has been working hard to kill Christians and Jews. Just like I've been saying, I've written it down. You've seen this happening. Homeless people are picked up off the streets and never seen again. This is how the UN destroys a Christian nation. The UN is headed up by the unholy Trinity, and Satan heads it up. He put his son at the head of it, the beast, as the spiritual leader, the false prophet who heads up the Catholic Church. Your government leaders are taking loans out in your name called stimulus to help them finance the overthrow of Christian nations as foretold by God's prophets and me. Daniel chapter 8 verses 23 through 27, King James Bible only, saints. Let's begin. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace. Think about that word, peace. And remember the word destroy, because that is one of the main words I want you to think about. And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princesses, but he shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut you up the vision. Remember the words, shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. Revelation chapter 10, verses 4 plus 11, King James Bible only, verse 4. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. Wouldn't you like to know what the seven thunders uttered? I know you want to know who the two witnesses are. Verse 11, and he said to me, you must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. I just told you who one of the two witnesses is by reading verse 11. I'm talking to you, Satan, now. Satan, do you think you will overthrow God when you, Isaiah, chapter 14, verses 10 plus 12, King James Bible only, verse 10. All they shall speak and say to you, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like to us? They're talking to Satan. How, verse 12, how are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? Isaiah chapter 20, verses 1 plus 3 plus 10, King James Bible only, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. See who's running things? Verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now I didn't put this in here, and I should have, I think. Revelation chapter 12. I can just tell you some of the words of chapter 12 and what you should know. Revelation chapter 12, and I saw a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And her son, and you're going to use the word son, was caught up to God and to his throne. And I saw another wonder in heaven, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew 1/3 of the stars, and did cast them to the earth. And he stood before the woman which was to bring forth a man-child, for to devour her child before it was born. But this child was caught up to God and to his throne. As you can see, I had this out of order a little bit. He wanted to devour the child as soon as it was born. Who wanted to devour the Son of God as soon as he was born? Was it not Herod? Therefore Herod was possessed by Satan. I'm God Scribe Roger, and do God's will. I shall spread God's gospel. You, Satan, will not prevent this. Know this, saints, that Christian laws are being replaced by sodomite laws. I'm God Scribe Roger, and this has been GSR News. Now you know, where did China get its money? Now you know what's going on. I love you, God, for revealing to me this great secret that nobody else tells you about. God bless you, saints.